What?
So this is we're gonna try something new. We're gonna record this meeting that we do every Monday at 7:30 on my YouTube channel, Sermon on the Mount meeting. We're gonna record it as a podcast. We have Billy, Michael Fag. I don't know if you care that I just
you don't have to say
your
last name.
Yeah. No, it's so cool because
you didn't say it right anyways.
Oh, there you go.
Is it Feig?
There we go.
Yeah, so it's just so cool to see him here because I grew up with him, and I don't know. So then we have, and he's been hitting me up on Facebook about nutrition stuff, and we have Danielle and Mikey, Jack, Paul, and Billy, and we're doing this Sermon on the Mount meeting, and we're live streaming it on YouTube. We have 37 people in the room, which is incredible, and one girl. Lauren Walters just
no last names. It's just you.
Well, I mean, it says it here.
Okay,
She's
okay.
They don't give a fuck about anonymity, and to be honest with you, I don't either. We just made a shirt that said we're not anonymous anymore, and the whole cult thing, the whole culty thing about AA, I'm not down with that shit. And this documentary about that thing,
The Vow,
like this shit is like, we gotta be careful. Like, all we're trying to do is be good people and look inwardly, and you can leave that. I'm gonna leave all that shit at the fucking door. Sorry.
Amen. Let's read.
Yeah, so we're gonna read.
All right,
from
we're starting a brand. Yeah.
I still have some on the last one. Like,
Okay,
I know you guys
okay.
are on this silence train. I'm just on this, like, the love thing. I feel like my problems, like when I read this, the power of prayer, my problems come from it not being settled in me, which leads me to pray about my problems. And then when I pray about my problems, I feel like at the times that I tap into like the all power of love and wisdom, which is like, to me, wisdom is like figuring out, learning to lose to me is learning to love, because I've let go of everything that I'm holding on to get the one thing I want most, which is like loving people, experiencing like connection and union. And that's how like you do that through love. Like, you don't want to be united with someone who's like, fuck you, you know, like, so to me, I'm still like, on this paragraph, the power of prayer to me comes down to like, yes, I'm asking God, but it feels like he's letting me pray for me, because in me, I'm changing and realizing I don't have to be angry at this like quarrel or person or whatever. I can just experience love. And then he says, then whatever arrangement will be best for all parties in the long run, it will come under the influence of the word thus spoken silently. So to me, it's like, if you can just love, you kind of let go. And I feel like it's the opposite of manipulation. You know how like it's almost like if somebody gives you choice and empowers you, you almost like, instead of manipulating you or pushing you, you almost like want to do the right thing. So it's almost like letting go and creating love like empowers everyone, including yourself, to choose like the higher way. So, yeah.
Billy. Alcoholic.
Billy.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah, this paragraph is like, it's really powerful. I mean, it really kind of touches my heart. And
which one?
The one we just read, and I have to.
Can you read it again?
Okay. Glasses.
Also, we're not religious people. We're just reading some shit that's cool.
Some of us might be, who knows?
I mean, sorry.
Once you understand the power of prayer, you will be able to really heal many quarrels in the true way, probably without speaking at all. The silent thought of the all power of love and wisdom will cause any trouble to melt away almost imperceptibly. Then whatever arrangement will be best for all parties in the long run will come about under the influence of the word thus spoken silently.
And Billy, just try to speak into the mic if you could.
So I have like the weak voice here.
It's okay.
So I've been practicing this. I was in a relationship and, you know, it was really painful for a couple of years. And I am not going to figure out the solution no matter how hard I go, because I'm going with self and I'm going with what I know, and all I know is the past, and I just repeat the past and energize the problem. This kind of tells me just to let go for some new downloads, like just feel love. And, you know, if you're not in a loving state, you can just Well, Randy really said something at the last podcast. Randy, he said, rightly relate yourself to God. And it's just been spinning around in my head ever since. I guess that was a week ago. And it's not, God help me, God give me, God I love you, or God I'm grateful. It's, God, this is what I'm thinking right now. And you don't even have to say take it away or anything. Just showing it, shining the light on your thoughts to God somehow creates this space where you can have a different experience. And somebody shared also how like the reason we're reading this and doing this is because we've practiced this and we've practiced the 12 steps, and it really works. It just does. When nothing I found ever works. And for me, freaking like curbside hope to die drug addict, and where I'm at today, it's just like proof. And I've been so grateful lately. I don't know, I've just been thanking God all day long and rightly relating myself. Like today was wonderful. I went to lunch with these guys, I got some work done, we're having this podcast together, and I just feel like a different kind of perception, like you said, state of mind. Like God talks about states of mind. My state of mind is just mental states. It's just for whatever reason at this level where I can really appreciate life, though there's many problems. The problems don't matter. I'm still living, and I'm having a good life, and that's it. That's it from me.
Thank you, Billy.
I don't know if I can ask you a question or not. So can I just ask it, and you can ground rules it? So what you're saying just makes me think, aren't all problems in our own heads, like how we perceive it?
I think so. Yeah, you're the fish you're trying to catch. Like you said it two times already. The problem is in you,
right?
And even if everyone else has problems, but you can't fix their problems, you can only fix yours.
Yeah.
And often when you go to the presence and you admit real love, you don't fight fire with fire. You like absorb the negative energy or something from the other person. And it talks in this book about that, like, well, right here, healing quarrels with love. It's like almost magic or something, right?
He talks about in this book, he quotes Shakespeare, where he says, nothing's either good or bad, but my thinking makes it so. This paragraph that we're reading reminds me of another pamphlet from Emmett Fox called The Golden Key, where he says you can, in any moment, switch your thought to God. You just switch your perception to the positive, and it changes everything. Mm-hmm. That's a state of prayer in itself, just switching your thought life to the perception or the consciousness of that God, and it has the power to change anything, because you're changing your perception. You're changing your thought.
Mm-hmm. Mikey?
Just on that topic, I feel like today, not yesterday or tomorrow, but today I have a choice. Like for me, when drugs and alcohol were a part of my life, there's a lot of people talking about, one addiction to another. It's like people are getting wrapped up in this substance or that substance or food or sugar or sex or anything. Like for me, though, I'm looking at it like I have a choice. Problems are temporary, everything in this world, but I have a choice whether I'm going to accept that into my life or I'm going to continue to think positively, and I like to think I think realistically, but when A, B, or C, it's like I want to be B. I want to be right in the middle where I'm like, okay, I'm staying focused because I have that choice. Drugs and alcohol clouded my mind, clouded my vision, clouded and put a wall up between me and God, whatever God is to you in your own understanding. So I'm grateful today that I have a choice. Pat hit me up. He's like, yo, can you come right now? And I was like, yeah, let me get in the car. I got a speeding ticket on the way here. And that was my choice to speed, and I literally pulled over. Of course, I didn't have my wallet, my driver's license. I didn't have anything, and for whatever reason, it just didn't bother me, And I'm not saying I'm in this spiritual state, but I was just like, it's a speeding ticket.
Sounds like a spiritual state to me.
Well, but I mean, and I hate to say it, I knew I was going to see some people that I love tonight and be here. You know what I mean? And I knew that, Monday nights are important. Now I just know I need to get here a little bit slower. but that's my choice. I could be like, F this police.
I love how you're not blaming Pat either. Like, he's get over here. That's what my mind would automatically do.
No, I mean,
fucker.
no, it's like, I know that, when I rush, and usually when I rush life in general, when I try to control things, I was trying to control me getting to Pat's on time. You know what? I got gas, I got something to drink, and I got pulled over, and I was still on time.
Wow.
So it's so long story short, it's a choice. Now when I get the ticket in the mail, I'm going to be pissed, but that's a choice too. So anyways, hopefully that makes sense, that today I have a choice.
I feel like that's what AA gave us.
100% that's what it gave me, But I have to live in that,
No,
because,
you have to do
because I still try to blame him, her, it, their, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, at the end of the day, I'm left with me. That's it. So I have a choice. Am I going to let this affect my life positively or negatively? And I don't do it perfectly, but when I think positive, or I stay in a positive mindset, I just feel better, and I'm able to, I'm able to be there for somebody if I need to be. That is how the wall that drugs and alcohol put between my God and myself, that's taken away. So anyways, I'm gonna pass. Even though this is really good, but I'm gonna pass.
Yeah. Should we move on? Okay. Danielle, Michael, I guess you're we go left.
Oh, yeah,
so
you're in
I
the
guess
hot
you're
seat.
up.
Cool. Where we
All right.
starting
Blessed are they which are persecuted, right?
And
That
just go-
paragraph?
from? Cool. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you, and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely, for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Really don't speak like that much these days, do we?
Well, so that's like why we're doing this, though.
Right.
Because we don't understand what they're saying.
Right. How do you dissect that?
Yeah, well, we're going to.
Yeah, well, maybe we should just jump into the next paragraph because it'll start explaining it.
Oh, we don't even know how to just translate that one, huh?
Well, I'm just saying, if you want to go for it.
Oh, no, that was the actual beatitude.
Yeah.
So now we're going to read the next paragraph, which is Emmett Fox explaining what that beatitude means.
Yeah, you want to read that, Danielle?
Sure. In view of what we know about the essential character of the teaching of Jesus, that the will of God for us is harmony, peace, and joy, and that these things are to be attained by cultivating right thoughts or righteousness, this is a very startling statement. Jesus tells us again and again that it is our Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom, and that the way in which we are to receive it is by cultivating serenity or peace of soul. He says that the peacemakers
We're live right now.
What? Okay. He says that the peacemakers who do this, praying in meekness, shall obtain prosperity, inherit the earth, have their mourning turned into joy, and that, in fact, whatever they shall ask the Father in the manner of this teaching, that he will do, that will he do. That will he do. Yet here we are told that it is blessed to be persecuted as the result of our right thinking, or righteous, for that by this means we shall triumph. that it is cause for rejoicing and gladness to be reviled and accused, and that the prophets and great illumined ones suffered these things too. Okay.
I think we should read the next paragraph too, because it explains more.
Okay, Mikey, you can do it.
Go ahead.
What? No, you can do it.
Go ahead.
No,
Also, just like when you're reading, just try to.
was I not?
We were a little bit far. It's like I can see the audio waves and they're really low.
Okay.
Just compared to it, but it's fine. We'll get used to it.
Mikey, alcoholic.
Mikey.
All this
Mikey.
indeed very startling, and it is perfectly correct. Only we have to understand that the source of all this persecution is none other than our own selves. I'm going to say that again. Only we have to understand that the source of all this persecution is none other than ourselves. No outside persecutor, but only our own lower selves. When we find righteousness or the right thinking very difficult, when we are very strongly tempted to hold the wrong thoughts about some situation or some person or about ourselves, to give way to fear or anger or despondency, then we are being persecuted for righteousness' sake. And this is for us an example of and this is for us extremely fortunate or blessed condition, for it is in such moments that we are really advancing. Every spiritual treatment or scientific prayer involves a tussle with our own lower self, which wishes to indulge the old habit of thought and in fact persecutes and reviles us. Did I say that right? Yeah, reviles. If we like to put the thing dramatically in the Oriental way, all the great prophets and enlightened ones of the race who ultimately overcame did so by just struggles with themselves. When they were being persecuted by their own lower natures, or the old Adam, Jesus himself, who was tempted in all respects like as we are, had to meet this persecution more than once, especially in the Garden of Amen, and for a few moments on the cross itself. Now, since this combats with the lower self since these combats with the lower self have to be fought out sooner than later, then the sooner they are over and done with, the better. And so, relatively speaking, they are great blessings.
That was a long paragraph.
That was a long paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what page did that just end on?
44.
So, Mikey Alcoholic.
Hi, Mikey.
I mean, I'm going to read the same thing I read over, and I heard a couple of people go, And it says, all this is indeed very startling, and it is perfectly, correct. Only we have to understand that the source of all this persecution is none other than our own selves. So, that just, I'll put that in an everyday, there's so much, it talks about anger, it talks about fear, but it goes back to like what we've been saying, or I think Jack said something about it. This starts with me. God is not going to force himself upon me. AA didn't force itself upon me. This is something that I have to do, and that's something I struggle with on a daily basis, being an alcoholic and a drug addict and just an addict of everything. Is I have to put my shit aside, and like Pat says, like this is, I said it earlier, I'm just trying to be a better person. I don't know, like, what does that mean? I'm just trying to not live the way I lived yesterday, because the way I stayed sober yesterday is not going to keep me sober today. If we're talking about in AA terms, like, I have to do something for my recovery, but in my own head is the one that I'm wrestling with, not, I mean, obviously we wrestle with a lot of things being humans in this world, family, whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, I'm wrestling with myself. And if I'm wrestling with myself and I'm going to choose joy and happiness over fear and self-pity, that is a struggle for me, so I don't know if that made any sense, but, when we are very strongly tempted to hold the wrong thoughts about situation or some person or about ourselves to give way to fear or anger. I mean, I don't want to give way to fear or anger in my life, and that's something I've struggled with is anger. And a lot of people I know, have known that, and I had somebody speak to me the other day who's like very, I don't know, I don't want to get weird, but very receptive. And like this woman just read me, and I was like, well, fuck you, but then I was like, I was like, what the, but, another thing, right? Right as I'm getting pulled over, my little sister texts me and she's like, what's wrong? And I saw her today. I saw my mother. They picked up my daughter. And my sister was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, well, that's a loaded question, what's wrong? Like, which part are you talking about? And I just told her, I mean, little did I know, I'm just, wrestling with myself, and that's something that, she brought to my attention, someone else brought to my attention, and coming here is, and a lot of other things I do in my own personal life, that's what keeps me grounded. Coming here and reading and trying to make sense of the teachings of Jesus and hearing everyone's explanations or how they interpret it, that brings me joy. Like right now, I'm not living in fear or anger. I'm right now I'm at peace, so that's why I believe this is very important. So I'm going to pass. I feel like I'm just rambling, but thanks for letting me share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that same passage stuck out to me. Where it says, when we are very strongly tempted to hold the wrong thoughts about some situation or some person or about ourselves to give way to fear or anger or despondency, then we are being persecuted for righteousness' sake. And this for us is an extremely fortunate and blessed condition, for it is such moments that we are really advancing. So that last part kind of flips it on its head. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's natural to feel angry, be in fear. For me, I stopped running away from those moments. I stopped being afraid of fear, being afraid of anger, because it's not my thoughts that define me, it's my actions, right? So I can be angry in a situation, and I can revel in that anger, I can fuel that anger, and I can react physically from that anger. Or I can just feel the anger, accept it, and more or less let it wash over me. Kind of just, I guess, pay attention to how it's making me feel in the moment. And if I have that clarity, I can better look at the actual situation objectively and gauge what's really happening rather than through the filter of the anger, sort of separate myself from it. And if I can allow myself to sit through that discomfort, that's that last part, where it's the blessed condition for such moments we're really advancing, because that's where I can grow. If I can sit in it, get through it, and come out clean on the other side, now I have growth. It reminds me of this story that I heard, this little analogy. Lobsters. Lobsters, they have their inner body, and they got that exoskeleton, right? The inner body grows, and it pushes up against that exoskeleton, and it starts to become uncomfortable for the lobster. but they have to push through it. The body has to keep growing for it to molt its skin, right? It has to get through that discomfort for it to become bigger and larger and survive and keep moving forward. And I think about that because, today, what often happens is we get uncomfortable and then we don't like it, so we just want to squash it. We don't want to feel that way. We don't, we get prescriptions, this or that, or we self-medicate, we procrastinate, whatever your thing is, to just escape from that. When it doesn't propel you forward. It just keeps you in the same place. So the next time that uncomfortable thing happens, you're going to have the same reaction. But if you can kind of just take it in, let it sort of wash over you, try and look at things without being reactive, you're better able to sort of navigate through it, take that in, and approach it differently the next time it happens. I mean, not that, may not be perfect the next time, but perhaps there's some growth. Perhaps there is something that sticks, that changes, so you're just better equipped to walk through it next time. That's kind of what it reminds me of anyways. So thanks for letting me share.
Paul?
Well, I just want to say that's like learning to lose, sort of. That's sort of parallels the whole concept of like just we're constantly learning to, lose or feel pain or sadness or anger or things that are associated with like negativity and loss,
Yep. It's hardcore how Emmett Fox repeatedly goes for the throat. He just goes right for the throat. This goes, for me, back to where it says nothing's either good or bad, but my thinking makes it so. Can you hear me? Yeah. All right. Nothing's either good or bad unless my thinking says it's so. Only I can affirm to myself that something is either true or false. And it's going to, like in the big book, it says our problems are basically of our own making. It says right here, only we have to understand that the source of all this persecution is none other than our own selves. No outside persecutor, but only our own lower selves. Nothing's either good or bad, but my thinking makes it so. I affirm that to myself. It doesn't have to be right to you, but if it's right to me, it's going to go that way, because I'm affirming that. Back to the mental states. It's how I see things. The basis of this book is to build a new character and to see things a certain way, in a positive way, and to have a God consciousness. So the way I see things is going to be the way I see things. And the way he just pokes it right to the throat, man. It says here, only we have to understand that the source of this persecution is none other than our lower selves. That's pretty point blank, man. It just gives it to you straight to the throat. We've got to understand that our problems are basically of our own making. And we could either change that thought life or, like we said earlier, be humiliated into humility repeatedly until we finally get it. Maybe we'll hear it the 1,000th time. If not, we're going to keep learning. Like I say, we're going to keep learning until we learn. Keep learning in different ways until we finally learn. That's it for me.
Can I share something really quick? What Hillary wrote in this in our group message.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hillary says, "But I believe what the teaching is asking us to do, as in those moments, go to God for the strength to get through it instead of relying on self." That's powerful. Thank you, Hillary.
Thank you.
I want to add what I just heard was basically, if we're the ones persecuting ourselves, that means you basically can't be a victim. Like, you're not the victim anymore, except the victim of your own self. Like, you're not a victim of someone else's choices. I'm not a victim of my parents' alcoholic choices. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's actually a victim, and there's some sort of way to get through that and to recognize that your pain is how you interpret it. And I think that's that might be like really insane to say, because obviously there are victims in this world of like crime and hate and, you know, wrong, but
child abuse,
molestation,
rape. There's so much.
So there are victims, but at some point, every victim, I think, has to go through this journey of recognizing that they have power to heal or over the pain, because at the end of the day, it's still in our thoughts. Like, our thoughts persecute us. Like, the thought of what happened to you persecutes you. You know, the thing that happened to you isn't still, you know, necessarily happening a few minutes or a few months or a few years later. So that's what I got out of your share. Yeah.
I'll share. Billy Alcoholic.
Billy.
Good stuff. Yeah, I like that because I most of my life I was a victim, you know, and I had a good story too. Yeah. But it doesn't serve you at all. You don't get nowhere if you're a victim. I mean, even if you've been really fucked up, I had to see that and start being responsible for my own life. And, you know, the other thing I love about Emmett Fox, like you're saying, he goes right for the throat, is like, he says all these things, having all these bad feelings and being persecuted is a blessing. Like, you think, oh, this shit's shitty. But no, he's like, no, this is a blessing, because you're going to have to deal with it. And when you do, you're going to be better and you're going to feel better. And I like what you said, Mikey, too, is when you do this stuff, you just feel better. If for no other reason, you just feel good. Right? That's it. I'm going to use the restrooms. Can you take over, Pat?
Mm-hmm. I don't really like... I for some reason, I'm like not like comprehending all of what was just read. I feel like we should just start from the beginning. It's a lot. Yeah. Like, so let's just read this beatitude again. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you. I mean, honestly, like, I get a lot of hate on TikTok.
You're blessed.
No, I'm just going to say, like, sometimes I wonder, like, why are so many people, and also, like, in the program, like, people just want to, like...
Say if you got haters, you're doing something right.
Yeah. So they want to just kind of point out, I'm sure there's tons of people that would see what we're doing and find a bunch of things that are wrong with it. Oh, anonymity, whatever. So I guess that's how I can relate that part. And shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So he's saying that before, and I mean, I hate to try, I'm not saying that I'm a prophet or we are prophets or we're like holier than thou. I mean, if anything, the whole concept behind everything I'm trying to do is like learning to lose, like learning to like admit that I'm a flawed loser. And that's cool. That's cool. Like, we're all like flawed, and like, and then to take that even further, like the flaws and the pain are how we grow. Like, there's this song I'm really into right now that Father John Mystique just covered. It's a Leonard Cohen song, and the chorus is like, there's cracks in everything. That's how the light gets in. It's a Leonard Cohen lyric. It's so ill. It's like, okay, so that's the whole point of what we're saying is like, I don't fucking know shit. I'm not we're not prophet, but like there's something in that that's so awesome. And the whole message here is like, have an open mind. Like, the open mind is basically it's a blank piece of paper. Like, anything that I thought I knew, like, 10 minutes ago is an old idea. I don't really know. It's just weird to think how like unlearning.
Because at the end of the day, you can only persecute yourself.
Yeah. So I know in my heart of hearts that my intentions are pure, and I know that what I'm trying to do and what we're all being a part of right now is something good and positive and loving. So, in view of what we know about the essential character, Billy, what's going on? He's just standing there watching the dogs bark. In view of what we know about the essential character of the teachings of Jesus. Okay, so in view of what we know about the essential character, so the character of the teachings of Jesus, that
Positive mental state, God consciousness.
okay, that the will of God for us is harmony, peace, and joy, and these things are to be attained by cultivating right thoughts or righteousness. Okay, so. And this kind of contradicts what Michael was saying a little bit earlier, but like I get what he was saying, but he hasn't been here for. So basically, like what they're actually saying in here is like the anger that you were illustrating, like, and like what Paul was saying is like it's our mind that's seeing it as anger. But I get it. Like I feel anger, and then I need to go to God with that, and I actually can change how I think about it, because it all starts with my thinking and it ends with my thinking. But I don't know, man. Like I kind of fucking agree with you, Mike. Like I get angry, and sometimes I just have to like just be angry, and it just passes. But I think God can help me change how I see that.
Go to him if he is sought.
It's when I because I agree, and I think it's you know, left to my own devices, I'm gonna get angry, I'm gonna react based off of it, right? This is based off my own experience, but the first steps were just not reacting to the anger. Because if my whole if my whole history, that's all I know, then to just tell myself, you know, or expect myself to not be angry, especially if I have no like spiritual muscles, let's call it, it's not gonna like I'm likely going to fail, and you know, whatever. I mean, that's kind of what I've tried to do. Like, don't be angry. Like, it's never worked. But if I can just accept the anger, just not react to it, sort of act as if, well, now I know what it's like to behave when something may be uncomfortable or generally anger me. So now the next time I can react to it mentally a little bit better. I don't react. The instinctual the reaction instinctively is different. I don't get angry the next time around. It's sort of like, I guess that's the practice that I've come across, that I try and practice myself when it comes to that, because I don't know how to just escape my thoughts. If I try and like fly away from them or run away from them, for me that's just putting them in my back pocket to come and bite me in the ass later. You know, I haven't really dealt with it. So for me, I've wanted to face it so the next time it's a different reaction, basically.
Billy, so basically what Michael's talking about is like awareness of your thoughts and your emotional temperature and acceptance. And we just read it too. That's the tussle. We have those tussles. And I mean, he doesn't know all our lingo because he hasn't been around us, but awareness is like the first thing, key of like, I am not my thoughts, you know, and what's really going on, you know? So he's just explaining it in layman's terms. I don't know. He doesn't know all our lingo, but I think that's awesome to hear that from somebody who's not, you know, been a part of our meeting. You're not an AA, are you?
I've got some AA under my belt.
Oh, you do?
I do.
All right.
Sweet.
Sorry, Billy. What I was doing was I was just kind of going through it because I just feel like I don't want to miss out on anything.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So what I was
I don't
doing,
either.
I was going where I had left off was by cultivating right thoughts or righteousness, and then it led me to like what Michael was saying about like feeling fear, thinking it's fear, letting it be fear or anger, and then getting through that. And I was saying, well, we actually want to try to think that it's not fear, or ask God to show us something new.
So-
Well, no,
Well-
you can't do that. That's like yeah, you can go to God, but
You're gonna be
you got to rightly
angry.
relate yourself. God, I'm fucking pissed. I want to tear that guy's head off and shit down his
Yeah,
neck.
because
You know,
see, that's the thing is
You're
like,
affirming that
yeah,
to yourself.
but that's
but that's
the
right.
truth.
That's a part of the reconditioning of the conscience.
Yeah. So you're
But
talking
are
about
you saying
it's
that you shouldn't say you're angry? What are you saying?
I'm saying that you may have to go through that experience, but the more and more that you're into this thing, and it says later on in this book that it's better to not have learned this, because the more that you do this, the worse the consequence is.
Yeah, I get that.
You know?
Yeah.
So you'll have, like I said earlier, you're going to keep learning until you finally learn.
Yeah, well,
With that-
15 years later.
10 years for me, and I still go there too.
25 years. I'm still
What
learning.
we're saying is that like we're 25. I mean, see, that's the thing is,
Feel it.
yeah, but no, even and think, oh, this is what I'm feeling. God, look at how like selfish I'm acting, and look at how fearful I'm being, and angry and resentful. Look at me.
You're blessed.
Yeah, and then okay.
That's when you're
And he was saying, if you just react, then you're reacting with self. Go
Right.
ahead, Danielle.
Just saying, he kept on trying to say something.
I thought.
there's what you said. I think about it all the time, because you're talking about. I'm paraphrasing, but good or bad is just basically perspective. It's what you think. It neither exists, right? We label it. So, like for instance, let's say you get fired from a job or something like that. Well, the general reaction is, "Oh, this is shitty. Like, poor me. Like, what am I going to do?" Like,
maybe something better than open.
exactly. You have no idea that this could be setting the motion for a blessed rest of your life. You don't know, but you're just
In
seeing.
the moment,
Right. Exactly.
what you tell yourself.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's almost like two things can live at the same time, because yes, I got fired from a job. There's that initial fear, but if I can also embrace what we're talking about today, if I have those muscles, and I'm constantly in that place, and I can go to that place, I can be living in fear. Let's say I can have that, because the fear of the unknown, it's natural, but also at the same time know that I'm only labeling this as something negative in the moment, and I know inherently that it's not. I think for me, sometimes I can live in both places at the same time. And
You can use that fear as a tool to go to the power.
right, so that power can allow me to walk through the fear,
And the
not
more
be
and
in
more
the
you
fear.
allow that power in, the less and less fear you're going to have. Because
Right.
fear is the opposite of love, and God is all love.
Right, yeah,
It's a conditioning. It's a reconditioning.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about, the spiritual muscles.
Yeah.
So it's good.
It's good stuff.
Damn, fools are dipping out.
This is-
Hey,
We got 29.
okay, so what?
29.
Yeah, okay, so I just want to ask real quick, does it look okay? Does it sound okay? Is there any issues? Does anyone have any questions? Because Billy's going to keep reading
No. What time is it? Is the meeting ending?
8:50.
in 10 minutes.
Oh.
I'd like to hear more from the
Yeah,
people
let's
that,
answer some questions.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Let's do it. Or let.
So how does it look and sound first? Sounds great. This was our first. I mean, I'm sorry. I've been kind of in and out. I'm like in my mind. I'm like, okay, I just started recording. We weren't recording video. We're live streaming, but we weren't actually recording video. And then like, I'm just like thinking about how are we going to get all the audio from all the people next time, because there's going to be more people. Let's say there's 10. Today's a holiday, you know, so like next Monday there'll be at least 10 to 15 people.
I'm probably gonna bring somebody.
That'd be fucking epic. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna do it outside, and I'm gonna have like a Yeti mic in the center that's just gonna pick everything up. I'm just still in my mind trying to figure out like the best way to do this, you know, because the better it sounds and the better it looks.
People to call in.
We can.
That'd be a suggestion.
Yeah, like to share. Yeah. I mean, see, that's the thing is like.
We'd actually need someone to be operating the systems then.
Well, Mikey's. Is there any?
No,
Is there?
he's part of the meeting though.
Right, but.
I've been a part of the meeting.
But that's also like this meeting. There's like different ways to be of service. Like he's our Jamie. Like he's a part of the meeting, but he's attending to and Danielle stepped up big time, and she was like the voice of like the members who aren't here, like Hillary. Like she was able, like Hillary texted her.
No, I get it.
That was radical.
I get it.
I shared, and I'm trying.
I don't want to lose Mikey or Daniel's
You won't.
participation, though. Is what I'm
You
saying.
won't.
Right.
You won't.
I mean, but that just might be the sacrifice
you won't, Billy.
that we have to make.
When they read though.
Billy, I'm here.
What are you laughing at?
You're just funny.
Well, I'm saying we're all, you know, so that we can. So yeah, are there any questions or?
Or any shares, like short shares they can type out or something.
You guys are the best. So grateful. We'll be here next week. I mean, a lot of comments.
Yeah, it's really,
But what's really cool too is the interaction that everyone's commenting on this, but they're also talking to each
so
other.
all 30 people are talking amongst themselves about what we're talking about
And helping,
So
helping
it's
each other.
kind
It's
of like
crazy.
dope because like. Yeah, because we're going to be, and I think it will just continue to reveal itself, and it will continue to become more realized as we're doing it.
I'll just say the book one more time. It's by Emmett Fox called Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah.
Is there a way you can put a link to the?
Yeah, for sure. Well, what I want to do, which I'm going to try to figure out what to do next time, is actually have like a little box of like what we're reading as we're reading it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's what I'm going to do.
They said calling in to share would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be epic.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, like it's not that hard to pull this up.
No.
But the problem is when you pull it up online, the pages are different. So you guys everyone get a book.
Can you take a picture on your phone and message it through the stream there, through the chat room? Can you upload?
Yeah, I could do that probably. Or, I mean, do you want to just do that real quick?
Sasha
See
knows
if you
how to
can
do
just
it. When
that.
he does a Zoom meeting, he puts it right on where we're reading and he underlines it. But Zoom's different.
Don't compare me to. No, I'm just joking.
Pat.
No. We're gonna do it in OBS. I think we can do it.
Yeah,
I think
we can.
I mean, we could literally have like a second camera, like on the book.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna figure it out. It's just like I said, we'll
figure it out.
Last week, this was on Twitch.
Yeah.
There
Outside.
was 5 people.
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I doing that? Now it's 31 because it's on YouTube. Nobody fucking wants to go on Twitch. We're not gamers. Why would I ever want to do this on Twitch? I don't know why.
Yeah, we're
I wanted to do
YouTubers.
that, but
Parties on Twitch. Those dudes are crazy.
yeah, I don't know why they're not just doing it on YouTube though. It's weird to me. I don't know.
That shit was weird. DJ and then there's like people behind the DJ looking at you dancing.
Yeah. So this was kind of a complicated reading.
It's gonna take some going over, man.
Yeah, so he's saying the will of God for us is harmony, peace, and joy. And these things are to be attained by cultivating right thoughts or righteous thoughts. This is a very startling statement Jesus tells us again and again that it is our Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom, and that the way in which we are to receive it is by cultivating serenity or peace of soul. It's just like crazy. It's almost like
last week we read, he said, as long as there is fear or resentment or any trouble in your heart, that is to say, as long as you lack serenity or peace, it is not possible for you to attain very much. So he's just building upon what he was saying last week.
yeah, it's almost like we're, I don't know, it's just crazy. It's almost like we're like little like babies or dogs that are like crying or barking, and it's like just chill, like I'm gonna take care of you.
Be still and know that I'm God.
I'm gonna feed you. It's just like crazy because things in life happen that seem to suck.
Next
but
week
they're
we're going to
just-
hit the next paragraph, not the ones we read, the ones we haven't read. Or do you want to hit this
I mean,
again?
I don't know, dude. I don't think that we processed this.
So you want to start there again?
I don't know.
I mean,
We did.
okay.
We hit it hard.
Well, we can make up our minds for next
I'm
week.
just saying, like, I don't know what. So he says that the peacemakers who do this, praying in meekness, shall obtain prosperity, inherit the earth, have their mourning turned into joy.
But you're reading the paragraph before the paragraph that
He's
we
just
read.
going back over it again.
Oh.
Well, I'm reading we didn't even stop. We
No,
read 2 in a row, Billy.
We read this. We talked about it.
No, we didn't. We read 2 paragraphs in a row. First, we read the Beatitude, and then you're like, let's just read the next paragraph.
Yeah.
And then we read the one I'm reading.
and then we read the next
We didn't
one.
even talk about this one.
Okay, well.
So I'm like really
should
wanting.
we just hit this again next week then?
Sure, I think so. I mean,
Okay.
because what I'm saying is, he says that the peacemakers who do this, praying in meekness, shall obtain prosperity, inherit the earth, and have their mourning turned into joy. And that, in fact, whatever they shall ask, the Father in the manner of teaching that he will do. Yet here we are told that it is blessed to be persecuted as the result of our right thinking or righteousness, for that by this means we shall triumph. I mean, this is the most insane run-on sentence. Like,
Persecuted by right thinking.
I know, but we need to break this down.
If someone persecutes you because of your right thinking, you're blessed.
Right.
Someone's talking shit behind your back because you're doing something right, you're blessed in secret because you're going to your Father. It's pretty simple.
I think it's like you're onto something. Like you said earlier, you're putting this, you're giving up your anonymity, and then all of a sudden there's a lot of haters. And then it literally said, if you go up to the actual beatitude, at the end it says, "Great is your reward in heaven, for so they persecuted the prophets before you," like the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is like when you're really enlightened and you're getting to the right thinking, there is resistance, and it's only like this is just one of the takeaways. Emmett's giving like 4 takeaways from this, and one of his angles is that like it would be saying like, Pat, you're onto something because you're getting a lot of resistance. You're blessed.
But I mean, I just think anyone popular on the internet gets hate.
Totally.
So
If you're doing anything,
no. But that's not true, because there are a lot of people on the internet that aren't doing shit right. Like Logan, like Jake Paul isn't trying to help anyone.
Right.
Well, I think
Of course he gets more hate, but I'm just saying, it's like,
So then
not everyone who's popular that gets hate is like righteous.
Which I think
But
that's
it
why he
says
takes
for
it the next
righteousness'
spot.
sake. We're focusing on righteousness' sake. Mm-hmm. You're trying to help people.
Yeah.
guys,
So-
we can do a podcast or whatever, but I think it's
Well,
time.
it just barely is 9:00 right now.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Can you
Damn, Danielle's
Billy-
over there just
Billy's
stealing
here
it.
for a
What are you
reason.
doing? What do you mean? Give her the mic.
Just tell us.
But you're like over there. Okay, so let's just no. But I want. So Danielle's over there. Okay, she's on her phone. She's half here, half not here, and she's just like, you're kind of just like poking. You're like, your little hate, little like resentments coming out. Like, what just happened right now?
I don't know. I just laughed.
But you laughed in like a weird kind of like.
I did.
Yeah, because I was like, thank you for letting us know, but because we were like talking about something, and he just like said, and like the way I reacted to him, you were kind of like.
I don't know. I honestly was like listening, and just I don't know. I have no problem telling you. Like, I don't have a resentment.
Right.
Yeah, I don't.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, what just happened, I actually really love it. Hillary just called me out on my shit.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I love her.
Oh, like what?
She just said, you got to pick a side, girl. The teaching of Ruth is really getting me closer to that. And it's like the gifts, like the gifts. What she said doesn't, she has a few typos, but it's like the gifts we good for me, not giving in and choosing an honorable character instead of a sometimes when it's convenient, honorable character. So I don't really understand what that means. Then she goes, stick with it, go to God. You're going to lose everything, darling. God promises that you make that life more important, always everything, and make God more important, you gain everything. I said, okay. She goes, you lose everything that's important in this world unless you choose which is important in all worlds. And she said, God. I said, okay, got it. I choose God. She said, act like it. When you want to go to that side, go to God. No more fucking around, girl. And I said, okay. No, I need a woman. Like, if you better, I respect her because she's older and she's no bullshit and she's wise and, I like it.
That's the lady from last time?
Yeah, and
But is she not just telling you to stay fucking sober?
Yes.
Is that not what she's saying?
That's all she's saying.
That's what she's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but
But you already made a decision
what do you mean?
that you're going to do what you're going to do.
No, I'm sober. I made a decision to stay sober. My sobriety date's now 9/5.
Okay.
September 5th.
And
My
that-
dad's birthday.
Nice.
Why did you make that decision?
Because I ended up I went to that party and people were smoking weed and doing shrooms, and I turned shrooms down and I turned weed down, and then I talked to different people, and just like I saw my sponsor today, and I spoke to several people.
Yeah, when she came over today, I was like really like feeling her energy. And I also knew, Veronica told me yesterday that you didn't do anything at the party. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I mean, I know that.
Well, I'm just
I
confused.
wanted to.
I know that.
Why are you
Anyway,
confused?
I guess meeting's over. If
No,
you guys
no,
want to pray out.
We're fine. We don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're getting into some good shit here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do we need to stop?
Because like a meeting's a meeting, and if you go too far off from the meeting, it's now a podcast.
Well, I'm not like, this is whatever we want it to be. We don't have any people in charge telling us what we can and can't do.
We got Billy.
This is, we're paving the road. We're making a whole new path, right? Like, I don't. So, but hold up.
I love it.
Yeah, no, this could be possibly the best thing, which I don't know if you want to stay. Maybe we could just, I guess maybe what you're saying is we should just stop the meeting and start a podcast.
I just told.
Right.
I just told everyone the meeting's over. We're going to be here talking. So do what you want to do.
Cool. So we can do
Okay, so
whatever.
what I
Okay.
could do is I could just stop it and then just start a new podcast.
We pray out for this. And then
I think so. I mean, it feels right.
Let's pray out.
Okay, but can you hang for a second? I mean, can you do the podcast with us?
Well, Gabor's about to tattoo me shortly.
That's fine. That's
What?
fine.
What did she say?
You got time.
Oh, cool.
So Danielle, this is what we're gonna do.
Let's pray out.
Yeah, we're gonna pray out, but like, I just want anyone that's listening to this podcast that wants to hear.
Yeah, they said they want to hear the conversation.
Yeah, but like, I'm not saying them. I'm saying the other people. Like when they're listening to this podcast, like a week from now, the next episode is gonna be Danielle, Mikey, and possibly Mike,
look,
and
Pat, you can keep
whoever wants to stick
You're right.
around.
You can keep it
You
rolling.
okay?
This is like, I don't
If
know.
you have to use the
I
restroom,
just,
it's right there.
I'm like I'm like trying to coordinate a meeting in my head, but
I
at
know,
the same time
but
now.
we also have to be open to like
What?
something.
Well, go.
better.
Continue.
Right.
I'm gonna get
You're
my
gonna go to
food
the
because
restroom?
I'm starving.
Okay.
Oh, okay. 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 Are we praying?
No.
I'm so confused.
I mean, we don't really need to pray out.
I mean, prayer to me is important. You want to pray?
Yeah, well, we got the prayer that we did.
Yeah. What is
You
it?
know what? Yeah, what we could do is we could take. Basically, I just want to wrap up with saying this. Like, I know that either Danielle is going to get sober, or she's going to lose a bunch of more shit and be in a bunch of more pain. And like, I don't want. I you know that saying in the program that says, "I wish the desperation. I hope it gets bad. I hope all that stuff. Like, I hope for my friend that she can raise her bottom." Which is what it sounds like you're doing right now.
I
which
mean,
is
I
awesome.
hope so. Like, I didn't make that. This conversation is going to be interesting because it's for the podcast. Like why I've come to this.
But
place.
basically, that's kind of like my piece to just to wrap this up, and then we could go dive more into it in a second after we take a little break.
Cool.
You make it. If you're here,
All right, let's pray. Let's pray.
Okay.
Like,
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.